Blake Lively was once Hollywood's golden girl long before she became one of its biggest villains. So what happened here? Okay, so Blake Lively, she was actually born into the industry. Her dad, Armie, was a working actor, and her mom managed talent, and her sister Robin was already famous from Teen Witch. It was actually her brother Eric who pushed her to audition one summer, and then boom, she landed Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants in 2005. And then fast forward 2 years later, Gossip Girl turned her into Serena van der Woodsen, and honestly, she became untouchable. Everybody was talking about Blake Lively. Personally, I loved her in the movie Age of Adeline, and I thought that she was going to be Hollywood's golden girl for the longest time. Nope. But when you look back at when she started really taking off in Hollywood at the late 2000s, early 2010s, she was basically engineered for fame. One of the shadiest details though about Blake Lively is that when she started dating Ryan Reynolds, he was still married.
Right here. Look right.
So Ryan Reynolds came into the picture in 2010, and the timeline is really messy, guys. So they met while filming Green Lantern. But the tiny problem is that Ryan was still married to Scarlett Johansson at the time, and Blake was dating her Gossip Girl co-star Penn Badgley. By October of that year, Blake and Penn, they were done, their relationship had ended, and in December, Ryan and Scarlett broke up. And then in August of 2011, Blake and Ryan went public. And in September of 2012, they got married at Boone Hall Plantation. So connect the dots here. Both have always denied any type of overlap though, but come on, like the receipts read suspiciously here. Together they built Hollywood's most marketable couple. They had 4 kids, they had witty Instagram roasts, and this whole fake feud brand the internet really ate it up for over a decade. Blake's whole drama didn't start with This Ends With Us in 2024. Blake actually faced a lot of backlash for her wedding at a plantation. So her and Ryan Reynolds got married at Boone Hall, and it's literally a plantation with 9 preserved enslaved people cabins still standing on the property. Ryan himself later called the wedding venue a giant effing mistake. And that was during a 2020 Fast Company interview. Then following that whole fiasco, in 2014 came Preserve, which was a Goop wannabe lifestyle brand featuring an allure of antebellum photo shoot, romanticizing the Old South with zero acknowledgement of, the history of it all. The brand completely flopped within a year, and former employees later claimed that she ran the whole thing out of her brother's Manhattan apartment with no HR, and that she reported no NDA payouts. Now, Ryan's public appearance and his charm that he has with the crowd, as well as their flawless red carpet appearances, it kept the critics pretty quiet, but the cracks were always there when it came to Blake Lively and her reputation. 2024 was a bad year for Blake Lively.
Hey, Lily, you want to do the honors?
No, you go ahead. I need to take it in from here.
In August of that year, it's when Blake's entire empire publicly fell apart. And honestly, she did most of the damage herself. So It Ends With Us, the Colleen Hoover novel adaptation about a difficult marriage, finally hit theaters. And Blake's response, well, refusing to even say the heavy stuff on camera, telling fans to grab your friends, wear your florals, and using the press tour to really push her own hair care brand. She promoted her brand, Blake Brown, and her drink line, Betty Buzz. Audiences called it wildly tone deaf, and director Justin Baldoni got completely iced out. No joint promo, no premiere screenings. The whole cast unfollowed him on Instagram, and the Norwegian journalist Kirsty Flaw, well, she dropped an old 2016 interview clip of Blake Lively sarcastically congratulating her on her non-existent baby bump. Yeah, that got millions of views.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
And people were furious with Blake Lively. And that's when things really started to go downhill. And that's when people started to really see, wow, maybe she's been a mean girl this whole time and just completely tone deaf. And maybe she's doing her best to turn people against other people. December of 2024 was wild for Blake Lively. That's when she filed a lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, and oh boy, did it backfire completely. So Justin countersued for $400 million. Then fast forward to January 2026, there's a whole bunch of texts that got unsealed and the chaos was unmatched. Blake had literally called herself Khaleesi with her dragons, Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift, referring to them, basically using Taylor's fame as leverage in her drama.
It's a significant responsibility. How we use that matters. Who and what we stand up for.
And Ryan called Justin Baldoni a predator fraudster and a toxic mess. Sony executives privately labeled Blake an effing extremist and said that her Blake Brown launch timing was epic level stupid. And Taylor Swift was reportedly very furious about being pulled into her whole drama with Justin Baldoni, and she didn't like to be used or viewed by Blake Lively in that way. She's like, listen, I'm Taylor Swift. What you mean I'm in your corner? No, girl, you in my corner.
Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni have settled a lawsuit after a 2-year legal battle.
By April of 2026, the judge did toss out 10 of Blake's 13 claims against Justin Baldoni. So yeah, the narrative definitely completely flipped overnight. Since Blake Lively's whole drama with Justin Baldoni, her comeback to Hollywood has completely flopped. Like, she is not back. She probably never will get back to where she ever was. Her hair care brand sales have completely flopped. As a matter of fact, they dropped, I think, as high as 87%, or I should say as low as 87% at Target during the worst of all the backlash that was going on with her and the whole beef with Justin Baldoni. And Taylor Swift has also reportedly ended her friendship with Blake Lively forever. She wants nothing to do with her. Justin Baldoni also, he is allegedly shopping a tell-all book. And here's the wildest part. Blake Lively didn't get an NDA on the whole settlement thing with Justin Baldoni, meaning that he can legally spill everything whenever he feels like it. And even after she settled things with Justin Baldoni in court, she still went back to court and is demanding him to pay her. She wants payment for damages.
Remember that time during the It Ends With Us press tour when Blake Lively's baby bump interview went absolutely viral? Blake, whose natural charm usually lights up any room, was promoting a film that dealt with the heavy topic. Instead of delivering a serious message, she took a lighthearted approach, telling fans to grab your friends, wear your florals, in reference to her character Lily Bloom's name and her flower shop.
It Ends With Us is in theaters now, so grab your friends, wear your florals, and head out to see it.
While this playful tone might have worked for some, it sparked a fierce backlash from viewers who felt that making jokes about such a sensitive subject was out of line. Blake later claimed in her suit that the negative fan response was artificially manufactured by Justin Baldoni and his PR team. However, various insiders, including a journalist by the name of Kirsty Flaw, have weighed in with a different perspective. According to Kirsty, it wasn't a sinister plot by Justin at all. It was Blake's own behavior that had fans raising their eyebrows. Her breezy, almost nonchalant tone during the interview, especially when discussing a film about sensitive topics, became a focal point of criticism. People expected more gravity from someone promoting such an important topic, and instead, they got a dose of what many called diva behavior. Let's rewind to August 10th, 2024, a day when Kirsty Flaw decided to upload an old interview of Blake Lively and actor Parker Posey while they were promoting the film Cafe Society. In this interview, Kirsty kicked things off by congratulating Blake on her little bump in a rather cheerful manner. To her surprise, Blake's response was equally cheeky. Congrats on your little bump.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
Instead of taking the comment at face value, Blake essentially threw it right back at Kirsty, completely avoiding any genuine discussion about her pregnancy. Instead of engaging directly with the reporter's comment, she quickly shifted her attention to Parker Posey, who was seated next to her, exuding his usual charm. The moment didn't end there. When Kirsty continued with her line of questioning, shifting the focus to wardrobes on set, Blake didn't hold back. "Everyone wants to ask about the clothes, but I wonder if they'd ask the men about the clothes," she declared before launching into an unexpected praise for the male actors' wardrobes.
Yeah.
And working in digital.
Everyone wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes.
Jesse Eisenberg's wardrobe was beautiful, and Corey's wardrobe was gorgeous, she added. For many, this entire exchange was the epitome of diva behavior gone too far. Kirsty Flaw later admitted that this interview made me want to quit my job. It was one of those moments that has been cited time and again by fans and critics as a prime example of Blake's tendency to let her ego take center stage, at times overshadowing the subject at hand. Celebrity love coach and body language expert Nicole Moore provided some fascinating insights into what really went on during that heated exchange with Blake Lively and Kirsty Flaw. According to Moore, when Kirsty congratulated Blake on her little bump, Blake's response wasn't as innocent as it seemed. Instead of smiling warmly, Blake paused, moved her eyes from side to side, and even pointed at the journalist as she repeated, "Congrats on your little bump." Moore explained that Blake's reaction appeared to stem from deep offense. She seemed to interpret the remark as a slight, perhaps suggesting that the reporter was being rude. Blake didn't smile as if she were receiving a positive message, but instead she paused, moved her eyes from side to side, and then pointed to the journalist as if she was throwing the comment back at her, Moore observed. Meanwhile, Kirsty's body language changed drastically too. Her initially open and smiling demeanor shifted to one of reserved discomfort. According to Moore, Kirsty even started wringing her hands, signaling that she was wrestling with her emotions and feeling hurt. It was as if the entire interview turned into a silent battle of wills, leaving everyone to wonder if Blake's diva moment was simply a facade for something deeper. Blake Lively has been very open about her need for creative control in her projects. In fact, within Justin Baldoni's suit against her, there's a detailed account of how Blake became increasingly demanding during the pre- and post-production phases of It Ends With Us. Page 39 of Justin's timeline reveals that his producing team was so concerned about Blake's tendency to overstep that they advised against granting her access to the film's dailies. Their fear was that she might start editing the movie herself, dictating which takes to use, a move that, according to Justin's team, was all too likely. Blake's insistence on having a say in every aspect of her projects isn't new. In a 2022 interview republished by Forbes in February 2025, she admitted that she craved authorship over her creative work. "I would show up on set knowing that they just wanted me to look good and say my lines," she explained. "But I also knew that wasn't fulfilling. I wanted to be part of the storytelling, to contribute to the writing, the costume design, the creation of my character." While some directors and producers welcomed her input, others were less enthusiastic, feeling that she had no business meddling in departments beyond her acting. Blake even admitted that she sometimes took acting jobs under the guise of merely contributing her talent, while secretly having ulterior motives to shape the narrative. This need for creative control, though admirable in some circles, has also earned her a reputation as a diva, who can sometimes let her ambitions run wild, much to the chagrin of those she works with. One of the juiciest examples of Blake being a diva dates back to her time on the hit series Gossip Girl. Long before she became a household name in Hollywood, Blake wasn't exactly thrilled about the casting decisions on the show. In a candid interview with Glamour UK, as reported by People, Blake admitted that she was initially upset about Penn Badgley's inclusion in the cast. "At first, I was so upset that they hired him, I actually poisoned the whole cast against him," she confessed. According to Blake, she went to such lengths as to influence her co-stars against Penn, only for things to take an unexpected turn. "Almost immediately, I realized that he wasn't a jerk at all. He was actually really nice and charming," she admitted, adding that it took her about a week to come around. While this revelation might seem humorous to some, fans across social media took a particular offense. One Reddit user declared, "She is just the biggest mean girl. She needs to be canceled," while another expressed disbelief that such behavior could have continued for over 20 years. Critics on X, formerly Twitter, weren't shy either, with one remarking, Blake Lively, the 37-year-old who still can't or won't grow past her high school mean girl phase. This old-school diva moment continues to haunt her reputation and is often cited as an example of behavior that should have been left in her past. During a promotional interview on Jake's Takes for the film It Ends With Us, Blake Lively's handling of a sensitive subject came under question. When asked if victims of certain things could reach out to her for advice or support, Blake's response was widely criticized. Are they like asking for my address or my phone number or my location share? Oh, I could just location share you and we could, she replied before adding, I'm a Virgo, so I'm like, are we talking logistics? Are we talking emotionally?
Asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share.
These remarks, delivered in a tone that many found dismissive, quickly went viral on TikTok. Fans and critics alike pounced on the clip, with one commenter noting, the way she is sitting with her feet up on the couch, in her heels, clearly says she doesn't care about this interview. Others argued that her initial response was a subtle way of telling people not to come to her with their stories. That's her way of saying, don't approach me with your issues, one user commented. Another went so far as to accuse her of only being in the film for the paycheck, suggesting that her lack of genuine empathy was a stark contrast to the gravity of the subject matter. The discussion over her remarks further cemented her reputation among some fans as being out of touch with the very real struggles that victims face. Blake Lively's reputation has been further complicated by the drama involving Justin Baldoni. Justin's suit against Blake claims that she overstepped her boundaries during the production of It Ends With Us, taking control of both pre- and post-production processes in ways that upset the creative team. The suit includes detailed accounts, one even referencing page 39 of a timeline, highlighting how Justin's team unanimously advised against giving Blake access to the film's dailies, for fear she might start editing the movie herself. This conflict over creative control has been one of the most talked about aspects of the production, painting Blake as a diva who is both demanding and difficult to work with. Blake's own admission about needing creative control was captured in a 2022 interview, where she described how unsatisfying it was to simply show up on set, perform, and then stand in a designated spot while the script was read off a little pink sticker. I wanted to be part of the storytelling, she declared. While some colleagues appreciated her passion, others resented the fact that she appeared to think she deserved a larger role in the creative process than just acting. This insatiable need for authorship in her projects has been a recurring theme in her career, adding to the myriad reasons why her diva behavior continues to come back and haunt her.
Blake Lively has lost almost 1 million followers on social media.
This Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni situation is not close to over at all.
Blake Lively has lost almost 900,000 followers since the Baldoni drama.
And this is happening obviously because of the Justin Baldoni drama. Almost 1 million people at the time of this video have been unfollowing Blake. That is crazy.
Blake Lively just lost hundreds of thousands of followers. So what's really going on here?
When it comes to Justin Baldoni, the opposite is happening. His numbers just continue to rise.
Beyond the debates and hot takes, the numbers don't lie. Baldoni has gained 230,896.
The drama began in August 2024 with the release of It Ends With Us amid rumors of on-set tensions escalating in December when Blake filed a complaint against Justin, who retaliated in January 2024 with a $400 million lawsuit. Blake has apparently lost 900,000 followers since September 2024, while Justin has gained 250,000 followers. The biggest shift came in January 2024 when Justin filed his lawsuit. Blake lost 350,000 followers, the largest drop in 5 years, while Justin gained 160,000. To me, this is crazy. The internet can really change so fast. A while ago, they were doing an experiment to cancel celebrities and block celebrities, and it made a massive difference to their lives. This Blake and Justin drama could be detrimental to Blake and Ryan forever. Ryan Reynolds made a joke about Blake and Justin's drama at the SNL 50th anniversary special.
Ryan Reynolds, how's it going?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
People were saying that this could really work against Blake and Ryan because if it were that serious of a situation, he wouldn't be making jokes about it. If Blake really went through what she feels she went through, why would he be making jokes about it? People were also questioning why they decided to go to SNL 50, but the response is that they went because they felt like they didn't have to hide anything. Why wouldn't they go out? Well, I feel like maybe it might have been better just to keep a low profile at this time and maybe especially not be cracking jokes about this situation. Blake Lively was seen smiling, while Kevin Costner, seated beside her, was apparently less amused. Some insiders viewed the moment as cheap damage control. I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest. They've got to keep living their lives, they can't hide away forever, but this entire thing is a mess. It's not looking good at all for Blake. New evidence is coming out on the daily. It all makes her and Ryan look bad. I don't know what could possibly be going on in their mind, but apparently Blake is pretty confident about everything. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively skipped the SAG Awards, where Deadpool and Wolverine were nominated, amid backlash from SNL producers who reportedly worried the show was being used to rehabilitate the couple's image. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni's lawsuit alleges that Blake Lively hijacked the filming of It Ends With Us and forced him and his family to wait in a basement holding area during the premiere to avoid seeing him. With the trial set for March 9th, 2026, Blake Lively's career is already feeling the heat in such an extreme way. Losing 1 million Instagram followers speaks volumes. Her upcoming film, Another Simple Favor, faces mounting backlash, and Anna Kendrick is reportedly concerned that the drama will overshadow the highly anticipated sequel. I watched the first Simple Favor and I loved it. To be honest, that's when I really became a fan of Blake. I just thought she was so gorgeous in the film. I love Anna Kendrick too, but I didn't watch Gossip Girl, so I didn't really know Blake too well before this. But after seeing how she conducted herself in these interviews, also all of the information that's coming out about her, I don't want to say I'm not a fan anymore, but it all just seems really messed up. People said that she's an actor, she doesn't have to be an advocate for the strong themes of the film, but I do feel like she conducted herself in interviews in a way that was borderline trashy. You don't have to advocate for people, but you do have to kind of be empathetic in certain situations, and I don't feel like she acted with that.
Blake Lively has had issues with many celebrities, and you won't believe some of the names on this list.
Her feud with Justin Baldoni.
Why is Blake Lively suing Justin Baldoni? Let me explain.
As the fallout begins from Blake Lively's explosive allegations against co-star Justin Baldoni.
You've probably been living under a rock if you haven't heard about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's It Ends With Us fiasco.
Ever since the release last summer of her box office hit, rumors and allegations follow, smear campaigns to bullying.
All that started quietly, of course. Nobody saw a meltdown coming when the pair first signed on as co-stars. But as production ramped up, rumor has it that Blake started clashing with Baldoni, who not only starred but also directed. The movie was supposed to be a breezy adaptation of a beloved Colleen Hoover book, but behind the scenes, full-on power struggle. Word on the street is Blake expected a say in everything from final edits to storyline tweaks, and if Justin didn't budge, she allegedly took matters to the top brass. Then came the accusations from Blake's side and the defamation countersuit from Justin. Suddenly, they were lobbing suits at each other in a real-life soap opera that overshadowed the film's hype. Gossips claim Blake's controlling nature rubbed Justin raw. He said in interviews he was beyond stressed in 2024, wiping away tears and hinting that an intense conflict nearly broke him. Those who back Blake say Justin was unprofessional, improvised intimate scenes, and forced her into unscripted kisses. Meanwhile, Justin's camp calls that rubbish, releasing text logs that show him reassuring her about postpartum weight or scheduling an intimacy coordinator. So who's the real villain? Both sides have found loyal supporters, each slamming the other as manipulative. The fiasco literally overshadowed the entire film's release. Some fans even boycotted out of confusion over who's telling the truth. Regardless, the drama proves one thing. When you cross Blake Lively, you're stepping into the ring with a star who's more than ready to take things outside. Blake Lively allegedly snubbed Leighton Meester on Gossip Girl. Let's be real, Gossip Girl thrived on drama, but apparently some of that tension bled into real life too. According to New York Magazine back in 2008, Blake Lively and Leighton Meester, Serena and Blair, BFFs on screen, avoided each other off camera like the plague. Fans who prayed the pair was as tight IRL must have been crushed. Then an old panel clip emerged, with Blake making a joke at Meester's expense, implying she'd been in a cage at birth.
That was a lot of information about cages, and I'm sorry, I was still thrown off by that stuff.
He was like, wow. The audience reaction was complete silence. Blake tried to salvage it. Come on, it was a joke. But no one was laughing. So what's the real tea? Apparently, those close to the set claim they never openly fought, but were never besties either. Blake's PR basically told folks, they've never pretended to be friends. Blake just does her job and goes home. So fans surmised it was a classic case of two strong personalities who'd rather keep it cordial than sisterly. And the evidence was that Leighton follows a couple of Gossip Girl alumni on Instagram, but not Blake. At least they gave us good TV, but off-screen, let's just say XOXO wasn't exactly their vibe. She was accused of snubbing a fan's gift. Fans don't always get the warm, fuzzy reaction they hope for when presenting celebs with heartfelt gifts. And in Blake Lively's case, a little pink friendship bracelet definitely didn't land as planned. At the 2024 premiere of It Ends With Us, one eager fan handed Blake the homemade accessory while she was working the red carpet. Rather than slip it on and flash a gracious smile, the star promptly offloaded it to a team member, explaining it didn't go with her red carpet look, but that she'd wear it later.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That's so sweet. I'm gonna put it here because it doesn't go with my outfit, but I will wear it later.
That would have been fine, except the very same fan gifted an identical bracelet to co-star Isabella Ferrer, who squealed with excitement and put it on right away. Cue the crowd side-eyeing Blake for sounding less than thrilled about a sweet memento. The TikTok that captured both actresses' reactions went viral, racking up millions of views and a ton of comments saying, "Wow, Blake, couldn't you have just pretended to appreciate it for 2 seconds?" Whether it was a fashion faux pas or genuinely rude is still up for debate, but it sure gave the internet another reason to question Blake's public persona. Her lifestyle site, Preserve Glorified Antebellum South. If you thought Blake's wedding was a one-time slip-up, guess again. In 2014, Blake launched her lifestyle site, Preserve, which included a piece titled Allure of Antebellum. As if romanticizing that pre-Civil War era wasn't bad enough, the piece came accompanied by photos reimagining 1800s Southern style, allegedly curated by Blake. Critics pounced, claiming it glorified a period marked by unsavory acts by certain people against other people, and that the piece's flowery language about magnetic sensibility was seriously tone-deaf. Blake's name wasn't on the article, but she was rumored to have styled the spread, and as the site's figurehead, accountability still fell on her. The piece unleashed a wave of negative press. She shut Preserve down in 2015, admitting the site never truly found its groove. Some cynics, though, suspected the antebellum fiasco was a big reason she pulled the plug. Like no brand can recover from that level of cringe. She never directly apologized, leaving fans divided. Were her intentions naive, or was she just ignoring historical context to push cutesy, Gone with the Wind aesthetics? Either way, it's one more example that Preserve probably belonged in the bin from the start. Armie Hammer called her a nightmare on set. Okay, so maybe it's wild to cite Armie Hammer as a trustworthy source these days, but in 2017, he sure dropped a wild story on Watch What Happens Live. Hammer had a small recurring gig on Gossip Girl in 2009, and when asked who was the biggest diva, he mumbled something about it being a tough show to film, and that he had to exit early. Host Andy Cohen pressed further, inquiring, "Who was your love interest?" Hammer quietly answered, "Blake," which instantly left the impression that Blake was the so-called problem. Chelsea Handler quipped, "Sounds like she was the problem." And Hammer didn't fully deny it. Of course, Hammer's rep insisted he never directly meant Blake was the issue, but fans read between the lines, concluding that if he's cryptically discussing a diva, it's likely her. Critics point to Blake's rumored controlling nature again. Maybe she butted heads about scripts or insisted on overshadowing co-stars. The interview fueled speculation that the real Blake might be a far cry from her sunshiny persona. Hammer's meltdown overshadowed everything he once said, but some folks remain convinced that maybe he was telling the truth. She's not so easy to work with. Pregnancy cravings? She called them fake. No, she didn't. Yes, she did. In 2014, a pregnant Blake Lively stunned fans by telling Extra's AJ Calloway that pregnancy cravings are basically an excuse to indulge.
Cravings, nah.
No?
No, we just lie.
She implied women use them to get midnight ice cream runs guilt-free. She further suggested that foot rub requests might also be a con. Let's just say a lot of expectant moms did not appreciate being labeled liars. The comment resurfaced amid all the It Ends With Us controversy, with critics framing it as more proof she's out of touch. But loyal fans argue she was joking. Blake's known for sarcastic humor. They say she never meant to shame pregnant women, just teased them about the "I need pickles at 3 a.m. stereotype. Still, telling the masses that their cravings are a big con? Risky. Considering that plenty of pregnant women do experience bizarre cravings, like pickles and peanut butter, some found it insulting. Whether it's a silly gaffe or more evidence of her aloof, privileged attitude is up for debate. But let's be real, she probably lost a chunk of mommy blogger fans that day. That interview from hell with Kirsty Flaw. When journalist Kirsty Flaw posted an old 2016 interview clip calling it the Blake Lively interview that made me want to quit my job, the internet broke. In the video, Flaw congratulates Blake on her pregnancy, only to have Blake snark, "Congrats on your little bump," implying the reporter was pregnant too. Flaw wasn't pregnant. In fact, she'd had fertility issues. Awkward.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
Fans called Blake's retort plain mean. Kirsty admitted she was scared to go public with it, fearing a blacklist from Hollywood. But after the It Ends With Us meltdown, she felt emboldened to show the real Blake. Of course, some defenders say Blake was obviously joking. But it's a rough joke to crack if you're not sure your interviewer's pregnant. The cringe soared further when Blake didn't back down or apologize mid-interview. That sealed the deal for the rumor that behind the camera, she might be a total mean girl. Even people who were neutral started to eye-roll at how she handled a harmless question about her little bump. Summarily, Kirsty said the encounter left her questioning if she should stay a journalist. That's not exactly a hallmark of a nice, gracious star. Lashing out at a reporter over trying everything. As if the Kirsty Flaw fiasco wasn't enough, another old press junket came to light from 2017, around the time of All I See Is You. A DP30 interviewer innocuously asked Blake if she felt free to try new roles over the next 5 years. She abruptly retorted, "What does that mean?" and later questioned if the reporter had even seen the film. The tension in the clip is thick. He tried clarifying, "I meant, do you feel adventurous in your career?" She refused to let it go, eventually quipping, "We'll give you a pop quiz at the end." To viewers, it looked like she was itching for a reason to bite back at a question that was normal as far as press junkets go. People chalk it up to possible stress or exhaustion. But once it resurfaced, it fit the narrative of Blake can be trigger-happy when it comes to perceived slights. On top of that, this meltdown happened right after the fiasco with Armie Hammer's insinuations she was difficult. Some fans think everything started piling up, exposing a pattern. Blake's seemingly sweet exterior can snap to defensive mode the second she senses shade. Whether it's miscommunication or an actual short fuse is up for debate, but from a gossip standpoint, it's definitely not the best look.
According to Justin's just-launched website, the Gossip Girl actress texted him back in April 2023 about a rewrite of the rooftop scene, calling her banter with him flirty and yummy, adding, "It's my love language." Many fans did a double take reading that line, thinking, weren't these two at each other's throats? It doesn't stop there. In another text, Blake told Justin she was cool with skipping a meetup with the film's intimacy coordinator, suggesting she'd just wing it once shooting began. She ended the conversation with a casual, "I feel good," which now feels ironic given how bitter the fallout has become. Justin, for his part, reportedly told colleagues he was terrified of upsetting Blake because he didn't want to cross her or risk blowback from her powerful circle. Talk about tense. The messages paint a very different picture than the allegations floating around, fueling speculation that their relationship once had a spark before unraveling into massive lawsuits and countersuits. If these wild texts are just the tip of the iceberg, fans can only imagine what else is hiding in the conversation logs. As if the Blake-Justin saga needed more A-list flair, none other than Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift appear in the leaked accounts.
Justin also shared screenshots of texts exchanged between him and Ryan.
On Justin's site, he includes a story about how he visited Blake's New York apartment in April 2023 and found Ryan praising his wife's new script changes for the rooftop scene. Soon after, megastar Taylor Swift reportedly waltzed in, also showering Blake with compliments. Imagine being Justin. You're in the living room of a Hollywood power couple, plus a chart-topping musician, all praising rewrites that tweak your own directorial vision. No pressure, right? Blake apparently didn't hold back on her cozy dynamic with Ryan and Taylor, going so far as to text Justin that they're her dragons, protecting her at all costs. Fans have been losing it over that phrase, speculating that once Ryan and Taylor hopped on board, Justin never stood a chance. Some watchers believe the actress wields those friendships like tools if creative disagreements escalate. Meanwhile, Ryan himself appeared upbeat, sending Justin a cheerful text calling him dynamic and expressing excitement for their collaboration. The presence of Taylor just makes the story even more surreal. Everyone's used to hearing about her songs referencing exes, not cameoing in film drama group chats. Blake supposedly asked Justin to swing by her trailer for a lines read while she was feeding her child. People are cracking up at the casual tone, like it's no big deal for a co-star to drop in during that mom moment. Fans on social media are going nuts. For Justin, that invitation must have felt like a sign they were on great terms, especially since the leaked messages show them joking about sentimental Blake versus meanie Blake in a fun, bantering style. Cut to a few months later, and they're in an all-out showdown involving allegations of manipulated footage and claims of a giant campaign. The discrepancy is whiplash-inducing. Some speculate that Blake's comfort level at that time shows she had no issue with Justin's behavior, contradicting her accusations. Others say comfort can flip into discomfort once lines get blurred. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are challenging Justin Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit, and it's getting wild.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds to ask federal court to drop Justin Baldoni's $400 million suit amid legal battles.
Justin Baldoni filed a bombshell $400 million defamation and extortion lawsuit against Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds.
Justin's whopping $400 million lawsuit against them. And let's just say, this legal encounter is juicier than a season finale of Gossip Girl.
Justin Baldoni claiming she tried to destroy his reputation behind the scenes of It Ends With Us.
So, what's going on? Here's the tea. Justin Baldoni, Blake's It Ends With Us director, filed a $400 million lawsuit against Blake, Ryan, and Blake's publicist, Leslie Sloan.
Justin has hit Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and her publicist Leslie Sloan $400 million lawsuit,
claiming they've been spreading false accusations about him. But Blake and Ryan aren't having it. Their legal team is now asking a federal court to throw the whole thing out, calling it baseless. Oh, and they're also trying to stop Justin's lawyer, Brian Friedman, from talking about the case in public because he's been very vocal. Like, we're talking interviews, documentaries, and even a potential website full of evidence. Drama, much? But wait, it gets better. Blake and Ryan's lawyers are accusing Justin's team of trying to mess with the jury by talking so much about the case in the media. Meanwhile, Justin's side is like, nope, we're just telling the truth, and we're not backing down. Cue the legal back and forth, with both sides throwing shade like it's a Twitter feud. And let's not forget, this all started because Blake accused Justin of some pretty serious stuff during the making of It Ends With Us, which Justin has strongly denied. So, yeah, it's messy. Blake and Justin went from smiles to lawsuits, and it's getting messy fast. Blake and Justin were all smiles on the set of It Ends With Us until they weren't. Blake filed her own lawsuit last month, accusing Justin of, among other things, making her feel uncomfortable and trying to ruin her reputation. Justin answered back with his $400 million claim, saying Blake, Ryan, and Leslie are the ones trying to ruin his reputation. And if you're wondering where Ryan fits into all this, well, Justin claims Ryan even mocked him by creating a Deadpool character named Nicepool to make fun of him. Yes, really. But here's the kicker. Blake's legal team is now trying to question a guy named Jed Wallace, who they say was hired by Justin to run a shady online campaign against Blake. According to Blake's lawyers, Jed used platforms like Reddit and TikTok to spread nasty rumors about her. Justin's team, of course, denies this, but it's just another layer of chaos in this already wild saga. So, where does this leave us? Well, the first hearing is set for next week, and both sides are gearing up for what's sure to be a long, drawn-out struggle.